we know that in all things God works for the good of those who love Him and have been called according to His purpose. And tonight we are just so incredibly blessed to have two examples of ways in which God has done that very thing through two families that are part of our church family. The first one is Michael and Lois. Michael is a 17-year-old high school student here in Elkhorn. He and his family have been attending St. John's. We're trying to figure it out 4 or 5 years now maybe, and I love telling the story. The reason they're here is because Michael's aunt was going to go to church on Easter with the rest of the family. She came here. They all went to a different church. And she was sitting somewhere, and she's texting them on Easter going, "Where are you?" And they're like, "Where are you?" Turned out they were in different churches. She said, "Well, this is kind of cool. I think I'll stay." And we ended up getting the whole family here. So praise God for that. In all things, God works for the good, right? He brought you here. And I mean that sincerely because we've gotten to know this incredible family. The Lois family, just amazing people who have been around Elkhorn long enough that many of you know them personally. Know them as a family who would give the shirt off their back for somebody else. But just a few months ago, the tables turned and they needed you. And they needed God to step up around them. And God stepped up. And so, without anything more from me, would you please give a very warm welcome as Michael Lois comes up.
Good evening. On September 16th, I suffered a tragic accident which almost left me permanently paralyzed. I was at a friend's house watching the Packer game, and afterwards we went swimming. We brought a trampoline over the side of the pool, and we jumped from the trampoline into the pool. On the third jump, my friend pulled the pool mat, which we used to land on, away, and I went plunging to the bottom of the pool. I hit the back of my head on the bottom of the pool, causing my left side to instantly be paralyzed. After I was helped out of the pool and laid in a chair on the dock, I became paralyzed from the neck down. On the ride to the first hospital, I began to gain movement in my legs and later my arms. I felt a stronger presence in that ambulance, something I have never felt before. I knew it was God helping me through this. At no point in time was I ever scared or nervous. I knew God was going to be there for me and help me through the whole process. He had a plan for this. The day of the accident, I had my first surgery to straighten my spine. I had a halo and weights attached to my head. After 3 hours of laying straight with the halo and weights, my spine went back into place. I had to continue to have the halo and weights in place for 8 hours until my second surgery on September 17th. On Monday, September 17th, I had a 7-hour surgery to remove broken vertebrae pieces and have 3 vertebrae fused through my back. I was given a 50-50 chance of being paralyzed or having some body functions, as they had worked so close to my spinal cord. When I woke up from surgery, I could move my hands, arms, feet, and legs. God was with me throughout the entire surgery and healed me. The next day, Wednesday, September 18th, I tried eating by myself. My hand would shake and the food would fall off the fork. Later that day, I would try to go to the bathroom and couldn't. When the nurses would try to help me out of the bed, I would tell them to let me do it by myself. I got to the edge of the bed and stood. On Thursday, September 19th, I was able to walk to the physical therapy room with my walker.
Do you feel like your knees are giving out at all?
No.
What's the hardest part? Okay.
Surgery, there's a little
Okay.
I always understood God had written our destinies long before we were born. But why would He want tragic accidents or for us to feel pain throughout our life? I remember being so mad at God and wondering why He'd allow this to happen to me. I worked so hard for my future, and now I felt like I threw it all away. The more I tried to fight what was happening, the worse I became. Fighting God's chosen plan doesn't work. You just have to take it one day at a time and realized that pain only makes us stronger. It took me a while to realize it, but it's the best feeling in the world. I know I'm nowhere close to being fully recovered, but I'm not scared of hard work. I've come this far and God's shown me the path. I'm living proof that God works miracles. Like Pastor Thomas said many times, God loves us more than we'll ever know. I'm so happy to have someone to believe in and turn to when things are hard. God never gave up on me or left me feeling nervous. Whenever I tell my story, I always try to spread the word of how amazing God is. The doctors don't have an explanation of why I've been doing so well, but I knew right away it was God. On September 22nd, I was able to come home. The next week, I went back for x-rays and a vertebrae had moved. I had to go back in for a third surgery. The surgeon went through the front of my neck and fused the front of the broken vertebrae. My goal was to leave the hospital the next day and then attend the homecoming parade and the dance that Saturday. The next day, I passed all the requirements to go home. I was able to attend the dance and ride the float before the game. I am blessed to be a child of God. Pastor Tom's visit to Children's Hospital and prayers with me and my family meant so much. When my grandma contacted Pastor Tom to come to Children's Hospital the day of the accident and pray with me and my family, he came immediately. I'm still wondering how we arrived to the hospital so fast. Thank you, St. John's Church members, for all the prayers and support. My goal is to play football my senior year of high school and play for the University of Iowa after I graduate. God is my greatest blessing. I've accepted what happened to me and that it was God's plan for me. Going through struggle and pain made me much more stronger and appreciate life more. The accident made me stop taking things in life for granted, and for that I'm thankful. Thank you.
The police officer who followed me to Children's asked me the same question. I told him in the emergency room, I have a 7-year-old who's given us many experiences in Children's Hospital. So I said, you need to tell my son what you did and share with him your faith. I don't want you to move too quickly from the point that Michael made at the end. And throughout his message and as we sat and talked, I asked him point blank, and he told me, he said, as difficult as this has been, I wouldn't wish that this didn't happen because of how God has blessed him over these last 2 months. And can we praise God for that? The next person that we have the privilege of hearing from this evening is Shey Zwieg. Shey is the daughter of Ed and Christine Scarrow, and they've been longtime members here at St. John's and the Elkhorn community. Shey and her husband Phil welcomed into the world little Giuliana just over a year ago, and we're going to celebrate her baptism here this evening. Now, this baptism was actually supposed to happen this past summer, but Shey's mom, Christine, got sick, and we were going to just do this as kind of a family thing. And I had encouraged Shey that maybe she'd consider sharing this with the family. They all knew the story, but when it didn't happen, they came to me, and I don't remember which one of you did, and said maybe the reason is because I need to share this story with more people and just share how God works in the midst of the storms in our life. And so without anything further from me, that's exactly what we have to hear. Let's give a warm welcome to Shey.
The story of our little miracle, Giuliana. My husband Phil and I are high school sweethearts. We fell in love, we went to college together, we got married, we bought a house, and we had a plan for our future. We wanted to enjoy being newlyweds for a few years while we built our foundation and our relationship prior to having children. After 2 years, we decided it was time to start our family. After a year trying, we were a little shocked. We weren't pregnant. Wasn't this supposed to be easy? But we weren't worried. We knew all good things just took some time and are worth the wait. After our second year of trying, we got a little worried. And so we decided we needed to see some doctors to find out why. After many tests and a few different doctors, they told us it was highly unlikely for us to conceive a child on our own without medical intervention. So we didn't like that opinion, and we went and saw more doctors and had more tests, and we got the same horrible news. The feelings we felt switched between frustration, devastation, anger, and helplessness. But we regrouped, and we made a plan to consult with a fertility specialist. But we discovered those treatments are very expensive and are, of course, not covered by insurance. So we started saving and planning for that journey. During that time, we stayed our course, and we leaned on each other for support. I became very depressed and angry. I couldn't understand why this was happening to us. I was angry with God. Why was He denying us the child we so desperately wanted and had so much love to give? I remember feeling confused and ashamed. How could I have so much joy and excitement for friends and family who were having children, but at the same time feel so jealous and devastated for us, why we couldn't have a child? The next year, many exciting blessings came our way. We were able to sell our home in Illinois and move back to Elkhorn. I got my dream job teaching first grade here in Elkhorn. Phil was able to join his family's business. We checked off many goals that year, but still, we came up short on expanding our family. After we were in a position to move forward with fertility treatments and consultations, we decided to make that appointment. But of course, found out that it would be many more months before we could see that doctor. After anxiously waiting, the day finally came for us to have that consultation. On Wednesday, March 8, 2017, we had that appointment. But before we went there, Phil made a comment out of the blue for me to take a pregnancy test. Needless to say, I was a little angry with him. I knew what the result would be, another heartbreaking negative test. So, mostly out of spite, I went and I took that test, got it from the gas station, and it was positive. I knew it had to be wrong. So I called my doctor and I said, you need to give me a real pregnancy test. So I went to the hospital and I took it, and I found out I was pregnant for real 2 hours before our first fertility appointment. I remember being so thankful to God for this true and unbelievable blessing. I've always prayed and had a relationship with God, but during that first trimester, I got to know Him on a whole new level. He was going to bring me so much strength and comfort. The morning that started our second trimester, we woke up feeling so much joy and relief. We made it past the scary part of pregnancy. We were able to start telling people and start sharing the joy. At school that day during lunch, I knew something was really wrong. All the signs were there that we lost our miracle baby. Waiting to see the doctor that day was the longest 3 hours of our life. The only way to describe that day was total and complete helplessness, not having any control over what was happening with my body and our baby. But it was a miracle. The ultrasound showed her there. Her heartbeat was strong and steady, and the doctor said everything was going to be okay. God heard our prayers. At 20 weeks, we found out that God blessed us with a daughter. But a week later, the doctor called and said that we needed to have another ultrasound because her kidneys were enlarged. So this started a series of bi-weekly ultrasounds over the next 2 months. Each time they confirmed that her kidneys were enlarged and not functioning properly. Again, all we had was prayer and hope. One day driving home from work, I had this feeling that we had to switch doctors. It came out of nowhere and for no apparent reason, but I just knew we had to do it. I wanted our daughter to be born at a hospital with a NICU. I can't explain it because we loved our doctor and they were doing everything right. But I couldn't shake the feeling, and Phil agreed, so we switched. At 31 weeks pregnant, I met our new doctor for the first time. At the end of the appointment, I shared with her that my feet were kind of itchy. I almost didn't say anything because everyone was telling me that it was summer and my feet were extremely swollen. So our doctor said she wanted to order another blood test just to rule out anything, but she didn't think it was anything. The next Monday she called and she told me that I had developed a condition called cholestasis. This meant that my liver was not functioning properly and was creating a backup of bile acids in my system that would create a dangerous environment for our baby. The good news was that we were able to determine the condition so it could be monitored. But if it wasn't discovered, it probably would be deadly for the baby. The doctor had a plan for us and told us that it would be a fine balancing act to let the baby go stronger each week. And when it would be too dangerous for the baby to stay in me growing, she would have to induce labor. I know that with every fiber of my being, that if we didn't switch doctors, Giuliana probably wouldn't be here today. I've spoken with a few mothers who have lost their children to this very same condition. And looking back, I know that the feeling and the whisper that I had nudging me to switch doctors, mentioning that my feet were itching, was God's hand steering us in the direction He saw fit. If you know anyone who is pregnant and their hands or feet itch, you tell them to demand a test to see if they have cholestasis, because you could be saving their baby's life. So the next weeks we had to check hourly if the baby was moving, blood tests, ultrasounds, specialist appointments to monitor her growth and movement and health. And at 37 weeks, it was decided it was time to induce labor. If the baby was in there any longer, it would be too dangerous and the risk of stillborn would be too great. Giuliana, however, had other plans and did not want to come out to greet the world. After 36 hours, she finally made her way into the world. And I thought I knew what love was. But the first time I held her, I realized I didn't have a clue. We held her and we thanked God over and over again for giving us this miracle baby. Looking back at the long road we faced, everything finally made sense. We thought we had a plan and that we had everything all figured out. But at the end of the day, God is the one with a plan. He controls every outcome and every situation, and He knew the moment that we were ready, the moment we would be ready to embrace the concept of being parents. He taught us patience. He tested our marriage. He made us stronger as a couple. He drew us closer. All these things we learned during this adventure ultimately molded us into better parents who truly appreciate the miracle He gave us. He gave us hope when there wasn't any. How to appreciate every moment regardless if it's good or bad. He taught us the power of prayer and truly being thankful. We are so thankful to our family and friends, our church family, who prayed for us and have supported us along the way. Thank you all from the bottom of our hearts for being here today and celebrating Giuliana's baptism, and thanking the Lord for all He has given us.
There's the very beginning of the Bible, the story of Abraham and Sarah, a couple that wanted to have a child for a very, very long time. When they finally had one, Isaac, they were asked by God to dedicate him as a sacrifice to the Lord. That's what baptism is. A year after God has given her to you, you're giving her back to God. That she is His daughter who's been entrusted into your care. And so at this time, what I'd like to invite each of you to do is to share your name, your relationship to Giuliana as the people who have said before God and before others that we take this role seriously to teach her about her Father in heaven. We'll start. Your name, relationship to Giuliana.
I'm Alex, I'm her uncle.
I'm Danielle, and I'm Reading.
I'm Nick, and I'm her uncle. I'm Phil, and I'm her dad.
I'm Shey and I'm the mama.
I'll let you know that actually. So, as we baptize Giuliana, she's marking the cross of Christ, and what we believe is through the Holy Spirit, the seed of faith is planted inside of her, and we encourage you to water that seed as the Spirit enables us until the day when she is old enough where she can claim and call Jesus as her Lord and Savior. And so to that end, those of you who are gathered here around Giuliana, there's some promises that are going to come up here on the screen. And I'd like you to say those promises out loud. You can look back right here. You got the mic, but everyone, whenever you're ready.
In Christian love, we present Giuliana Emily Eva Zwieg for holy baptism. We promise to faithfully bring Giuliana to worship the Lord, to teach her the Lord's Prayer, the Apostles' Creed, and the Commandments. As she grows in years, we will provide her with the Bible and make sure that she receives a Christian education. We will do all we can to help Giuliana develop a committed, life-changing connection with Jesus Christ.
If you want to just hold her over the water here. Giuliana. Sometimes it takes a while for the sin to come out. Let that out, all of it, before you don't even have to zip her down. Giuliana, we baptize you in the name of our God, who is Father, Son, and Holy Spirit. Mark you at the cross of Christ forever as His daughter, adopted into the family of God. We also remember Jesus' words when He said that we're called to let our light so shine before men that they will see our good deeds and praise our Father in heaven. Giuliana, that's the calling on you. You've got a light inside of you. I can see it. We also are reminded by this Holy Comforter that our quilters have put together, and we have prayed over, that God is a Holy Comforter to Giuliana, that He loves her even more than her parents and grandparents and family, which is impossible to understand. But it also means that He's going to be watching over her for all of eternity. And so it is a great blessing, and if she'll let me take her, if not, we don't have to force it. It is my great pleasure to introduce to you the newest daughter of the Christian church, Giuliana.